venture to say that we each have our own love-hate relationship with technology. But whether we want to admit it or not, many of us rely on this technology use every day, whether it's finding directions to go somewhere, looking up the weather, playing music, or looking at a recipe. So how would this technology translate to use in the classroom? I'm an elementary education major, and last semester I had the privilege of taking a technology in the classroom course that was offered at Salt Lake Community College. I was also working at the time as a paraeducator in a classroom, and so I tried to implement what I was learning in class with the classroom I was teaching in. I want to relay to you today the idea that technology use in the classroom can be an effective tool. This may challenge some of your current ideas, but I ask that if they do, just take a baby step with me in recognizing the prevalence in technology use today. I would like to first define technology use in the classroom and then talk about its advantages and disadvantages. Let's first define what technology in the classroom means. Defining educational technology can be a little tricky because it continuously changes and everyone has their own interpretation of what it means. But I had a personal interview with Dr. Ryan Miller, who was my professor for technology in the classroom, and he had this to say about the definition. Quote, educational technology is any means or material and the resources that students use to learn and teachers use to teach that is technology-based and helps to improve cognition. So let's just break that apart for just a second. The means that he talks about in that definition might include the internet, PowerPoint, videos, songs, music, those things. While materials might include computers, tablets, iPads, smartboards. I also, like he said, resources that help students learn and teachers teach. This is important to remember that technology, in order to be effective, it must be worthwhile, it must make sense for the task, and act as an aid tool. Technology is not intended to replace the teacher, but rather to add to his or her instruction and add to the student's ability to understand the lesson. Now that we've defined technology use in the classroom, let's talk about the advantages of its use. According to Dr. Karen Murphy, who is an associate professor of early childhood education at Wheelock College, she says technology is a tool, and as such, it should be selected because it is the best tool for the job. So when is it the best tool for the job, and what are its advantages? I wrote down a list of 4 that I could think of off the top of my head. It increases a call for peer collaboration. It allows teachers to adapt lessons effectively for different students' learning abilities. It allows students to explore and make information mean something to them, and it gives students flexibility for creativity. I have personally watched some of these advantages play out while I was working in the classroom, and I will relate briefly just 2 of them. One example was we had to come up for our technology in the classroom course a web quest, which is essentially you build this web page that has presents a problem to a group of students, and they're split off, and they each have a different task, and it's all listed on this web page. And they take their task, they go do all the videos and reading and things that you've set up for them, and then they come back together and help each other finish the packet and come up with a solution to the problem. So this helps them academically and socially as they're collaborating and helping each other learn the material. Another example was when I was working in the classroom, they had reading rotations every day, and they would, when they had iPads for their 15-minute rotation, they could either do math or literacy. And as I was walking around, I would notice that a lot of the math and literacy apps on the iPad have different difficulty levels, so that those students needing to be challenged who are above level, the teacher can raise that level and allow them to have that time to be challenged. While the students who are struggling and maybe needing a little extra assistance, the level can be accommodated for them to be able to still learn. However, given these advantages, there are still some who have concerns about technology in the classroom. So what are the fears of its disadvantages? Many fear it's replacing the teacher. And again, to combat this, we have to remember that technology, like I said before, is supposed to be used as a tool, not as a replacement for the teacher. It's to be used by the teacher to enhance the lesson. And honestly, if a teacher is using technology to replace her or his presence in the classroom to teach their lesson, then they're not integrating technology in the classroom properly. Some say it's a distraction. The National Association of Elementary School Principals, a professional organization that supports principals and other educators, reminds us that we are not teaching the same learners, and using the same ways of teaching will not work for them or be effective. I say use its use, don't fight it. It surprises me how young kids nowadays know how to use and utilize technology. And if we're constantly in the classroom fighting them for, using their phones or using iPads or talking about using the computer, I think we're wasting precious time. So just use it to our advantage in helping the students utilize and help us make it be effective for both parties. Let me close by saying this. As I've defined what it means to use technology in the classroom and talked about its many advantages as well as the disadvantages, I hope you can see that technology used in the classroom can be an effective tool when it's used properly. Rob Dewey said, "If we teach today as we taught yesterday, then we rob our children of tomorrow." I encourage you to not rob our children of tomorrow, but instead set them up to have all the tools necessary to thrive and succeed to the best of their ability.